also, I really have to admit that after the show, I need 2 days to recover, and I'm very exhausted.
Yeah.
And my ears are very sensitive, so I need silence after the show for 2 days. So I can't listen to anything anymore. And
yeah, I understand.
You don't want to see me on the plane, so it's with the headphones
Hood
like
up,
this, and the sleeping mask, and then like this,
cutting the world out.
Nobody would recognize me on the plane.
Do you wear earplugs when you play?
Oh, what a bad question. Well, I have plugs, but I don't use them often enough, to be honest, because it's very unreasonable. But when the gig is so great and I'm not taking drugs at all, so music is my drug, then I need the volume in my ears, and that's my only vice, maybe, that I hear music too loud.
I understand.
So, but it's my drug. I mean, when I hear good music, when I have a good time with the people in the club or wherever, then I need this kick with loud music. What about you?
No, I've worn earplugs since I was 12 years old, going to like when I first started. My ears are like really sensitive, so I just like don't like being in loud places without them. I think because I've just had them for so long, I've just gotten used to wearing them, and it doesn't affect me. However, when you play that really shitty club and the monitor speakers are horrible.
But this is never happening to us, right?
This happens every weekend. It's
impossible.
Yeah, it's really hard to like get into it, but I also am like very conscious that I need to look after my ears. So it's kind of like I sometimes take them out because I can't hear and I have to mix. But then I end up just being like, okay, well, I'm just going to have to take one for the team, put my earplugs back in and just not get the vibe and hope everyone has a good time, because my ears are way more important. But yeah, we've all got friends that don't wear them and do wear them. And it's just, have you ever thought of in-ear monitors?
I don't know. You know what the thing is? I'm 52 years old now. And believe it or not, the first time when I went to a discotheque was in 1985.
Wow.
So especially at the beginning when house music and techno music were about to start. So 1985, it's 23 now. Wow, almost 40 years.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. Okay, and I have tinnitus.
Yeah.
Since, I don't know, 20 years. But it's okay. I can live with it. It sounds a bit like 14K high string in my ears. And
the tension string.
I only recognize this when I talk about it or when I'm aware of it. But I have the impression it's a bit like with radioactivity. So there are people living in the area of Chernobyl. They are 85 years old. They are living there since it happened in this atomic power plant.
Yeah.
They're still alive. They drink the milk.
Yeah.
And they are alive and healthy. And I think it's a bit the same with me when it comes to loud music. My body can deal with it.
Yeah.
And I'm still hearing pretty well. So I make a test every year. And yeah, of course, over, 14,000 hertz, it's a bit difficult, but hey, I'm not a bat, so all good.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it can affect people differently, right? I've got friends that got tinnitus randomly, and it just like completely destroys them.
Yeah, really? Why?
Just I think mentally. I think it's like the mental ring of like just trying to overcome that, and then also try and be creative on top of that. And I think it can be tough for some people, but it sounds like you've kind of managed it well, and it doesn't really affect you.
Yeah, the thing is, I have attended a therapy 8 years ago in Düsseldorf in a hospital. They offered it for tinnitus people. And I was there with, I don't know, 20 people. And there was one saxophone player and me, and then 18 other people. And the saxophone player and I had tinnitus because of reasons we all know.
Yeah.
But the other people, they had tinnitus because of stress. And like mobbing or too much stress in their life. And then this, let's call it seminar, they taught us for 1 week how to deal with it.
Wow.
And this was really, really, really helpful. I mean, at this time, I was touring a lot, and it was annoying me a little bit. And after this week session, it was much, much better because, they teach you how to deal with it, how to handle it, and how to accept it. And they gave us some really good tools in order to live with these circumstances.
Wow. Yeah.
And it really helped me. And nowadays, I simply accept it, and it's not really disturbing my life at all.
That's really interesting. I've never heard of that before.
Yeah,
but I think
I'm pretty sure it's everywhere. This therapy
must be.
So everybody can check it out, and it helps. I can highly recommend it.
Wow. Yeah, I've not heard of that.
Yeah, because it's a psychological thing. I mean, it's something between our ear and our brain, which is, I don't know, let's call it like the gain knob, which is kind of distorted.
Yeah.
And I think it's a very good way to choose this option, because when you accept it more, you can live with it in a better way, of course.
Yeah, totally. That makes sense. Yeah, I think it's something that the whole industry struggles with, right? Funny enough.
What a surprise.
Yeah.
That's a big surprise.
Especially like back in the day when earplugs weren't a thing and it was all about just going as hard as possibly. I think over the last like 5-10 years, health in the industry has kind of came way more fashionable, I guess.
Thank God.
Yeah, whether that's health, like physical health, nutrition, mental health, it's definitely changed, which is amazing. Have you seen the change over the years?
Well, of course, I'm thinking about this a lot. And I have a very good friend. He is psychotherapist, and he's also looking after DJs and musicians.
Yeah.
I think that this topic is only about to start. And when I meet colleagues backstage or at the airport or in an airport lounge or plane, I sometimes still have the impression that some people don't want to talk about it because they maybe think that it's something like a weakness.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that almost every one of us, let's say, DJs and producers who are on the scene for a longer time, they sometimes have had problems in a mental way as well.
Totally.
Because touring and the circle of hotel, plane, club, hotel, plane, club is, of course, very challenging. And I think it's really time to talk more about this. Because it's human. I mean, it's nothing we should be ashamed of. Or what do you think?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. What have you struggled with over the years in that sense, like mentally?
There are a lot of aspects. I mean, maybe one really massive aspect is that the party bubble and the everyday life bubble are very, very different.
Yeah.
On the one hand, I really appreciate it because a part of our life is, of course, making or having a normal life because life is not 24/7 party. So in a way, I appreciate it because it always brings me down to earth when I'm back home, seeing my family and my kids. On the other hand, it's sometimes a bit difficult to make the transition within sometimes 12 hours. I mean, let's say I play in Marseille, south of France, take the morning flight, 10 a.m.
Yeah.
I have slept for 4 hours, and then I'm back home at, let's say, 2 p.m. And then there are only 12 hours in between the party and opening the door. And this transition is sometimes tough because there are two different worlds. I love both worlds, but the transition is sometimes a bit tough. And this is something which is a challenge sometimes, for sure.
What is the tough side of it? Because I can relate, but what is it that's actually tough?
Yeah, tough is that during a party there's lots of enthusiasm, and people are heavy. There's a lot of energy in the room, in the club, and everybody's like, in the best case, so hey, we want more. And I also see our parties as an escape room of the weekend where people can have some distance from their everyday life. And then when you don't have to be at home already. I mean, you can just sit on the plane or in the airport in the departure hall, and everything is the other way around. It's sober. Everybody is more. People who are sitting around you are more. Have more serious face, and this is a challenge for all of us, for sure. I mean, it's not an easy one, and hey, but that's life. And
it's always, how funny is it when especially when you do the gig straight to the airport, and you are literally coming straight from the show to the airport, you get into the lounge, your flight's at like 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, and everyone around you is wearing a suit because they're all going to work or it's a business meeting. That's the strangest thing for me, is like, you're coming off stinking of cigarettes and alcohol because that's what's been around you the whole night, and then you're walking into a situation where people are just going to do corporate life. It's very different. It's a very different lifestyle.
Yeah, and what maybe some people don't know or don't realize is the matter of fact that we still need to be disciplined, like corporate suits. I mean, in a different way, but we also have to be disciplined when we are touring or when we are playing, or between the shows, that we stay healthy, that we make some sports and all this stuff in the best case. And this is an aspect which is maybe a bit off the radar, but if you want to do this business for a long time, there's no alternative, of course, because when you make the hard raver life for 20 years, it's difficult to stay, right?
I totally agree, and we've all seen it over the years, right? Is people have that lifestyle and it falls off eventually, and then there's some people that I don't know how, but can just keep going. Like Scream, for example. Scream parties super hard, and for somehow he just keeps going. But how have you kept healthy over the years? What do you have, like a strict routine?
Yeah, I don't want to be displayed as a health apostle, as you say in Germany. I try to straddle the divide between both worlds in a way. I love to be unhealthy sometimes. Let's say I also end up in a fast food restaurant 3-4 times a year. On the one hand, but on the other hand, I don't eat meat and try to eat as many as possible vegetables. Because I learned recently, or in the last years, how many vegetables we have. 1,000.
Yeah, we have a lot.
And how extremely healthy they are. And I'm a big fan of the middle way. I don't want to be this vegan, super healthy, running everyday guy on the one hand, and I don't want to be this extreme party animal just eating fast food like in Super Size Me. So I think the middle way is maybe the best, and it's quite okay. But hey, to come back to vegetables, I can just recommend this to everybody out there. there are so many great thoughts I haven't known before. And New Year's Eve, I was in Berlin. I went to a vegan restaurant just a stone throw away from Watergate. And to make some advertisement, it's called Sunshine Vegan. It's an amazing place. I'm not co-owner, so I'm just recommending. And they had all these seitan dishes, duck, seitan duck, seitan shrimps and all this stuff. And it was amazing. I loved it. So little tip for all Berlin clubbers.
Berlin goers. Yeah, I talk a lot of shit on vegans just because for fun. But like I do really respect, like, I'm a huge foodie, so I've been to a few vegan restaurants, vegetarian restaurants, and I'm like, there's some amazing food because they have to get creative. They can't just put a plate of meat on the plate and cook a plate of meat with a bunch of butter, which will always taste amazing. So it's like they have to be super creative, and to make something taste amazing. So yeah, I do respect that whole culture a lot. I do love experimenting and shit like that. I guess, are you a big food person?
A big what?
Food person?
Yeah, I mean, almost everybody is, right? So, yeah, of course, I love to eat good food. It doesn't have to be something super fancy.
Yeah.
But once again, there are so many vegetables. I'm
Marc Romboy loves the vegetables, everybody.
Yeah, so my next AP, you know the name already.
Vegetables.
Track A1 is broccoli and A2 is carrots.
That's great.
No, but I don't know how you grew up, but as a child, when you came back home, there was some meat on the plate, potatoes and maybe vegetable, but mainly meat. And I'm realizing more and more, and I'm not a hardcore vegan person at all, but I realize more and more how many wonderful alternatives are around. And hey, one thing is out of the question. We can't continue like this.
Yeah.
We are approaching 9 billion people on Earth, and 9 billion people can't eat meat.
Yeah.
That's impossible and can't be our aim. So yeah, let's be creative, right?
Yeah, it's crazy how many people are on this planet right now. It's just like so many fucking people. You can't even imagine. Even just when you like go to New York and you just walk around and you're like, how are all these people in one place? Or you go to Tokyo and you're like, where does everyone live? It's crazy.
Yep,
absolutely crazy.
Correct.